Already back again, Annuity Producers Video Podcast. Here today with a good friend of mine, Dr. Amanda Barrientes. She is
Woohoo.
awesome. She is a rock star. We've known each other now, what, a little over a year or so,
A
probably?
year, the ninth. I talked to you. My
Oh,
anniversary is on the ninth.
there we go. That's perfect. I can
Yeah.
barely remember my birthday, so that's awesome. Yeah, and it's been a lot of fun, and her and I both share a similar background of a passion for life insurance, asset protection, and then we had a conversation about transitioning more into the annuity space, and she's really took this bull by the horns and has just become an absolute rock star. A lot of times when we talk about different marketing strategies, everyone's different. Like I'm a big proponent of in-person workshops. I personally absolutely love them. Garrett on our team loves the online lead process. Ryan on our team does the workshops. Well, Dr. Amanda, she does something a little bit differently and something that I am attempting to mimic on my own personal channel for consumers, which is YouTube. And she is crushing it on YouTube. I'm so happy for her and slightly jealous, but that's okay. I want her to be successful. And the YouTube strategy is amazing because when somebody Googles your name, what are they going to see? YouTube is free SEO. And if you have a series of videos there, they can actually start to interview you by watching your videos and they're more prepared to work with you. You also have what's called the celebrity effect. Because if you are on YouTube, you have some good followers, likes on your channel, decent content, they're gonna be like, wow, they're actually talking to me one-on-one. Because I used to do radio in the past, and radio was the same way. I was the radio host calling people, and they were just ecstatic, and they're so honored. And you get the same thing with in-person workshops. It's not quite as much as a celebrity appeal as it is with YouTube. But to give you a quick example, Dr. Amanda and I was on her show one time, and there's a local client here in Texas that says, hey, look, I follow Dr. Amanda, and we actually live right down the road from you. So now I'm working with those people because I did an appearance on Dr. Amanda's YouTube channel. So you never know who you're going to bump into. The other cool part, it's evergreen content for the most part. And when you do a YouTube video and you post it, you could be on vacation somewhere, taking a nap, picking your nose, doing whatever you want, and somebody might fill out a lead collection form. It's marketing that works while you don't have to work. It's working while you're sleeping because people will watch these videos at all hours of the day. So, Dr. Mehta, maybe you could share a little bit more about your transition into the space and what made you think of, I'm going to do YouTube versus everything else?
How far back do you want me to go? It's interesting because I had a business previously that was doing business coaching of entrepreneurs. And I had at that time a podcast and a YouTube channel. And weirdly, in that business, my podcast was the thing that brought all my clients. And I
Huh.
worked so hard to grow YouTube and it didn't work very well. I had some following there, but I just didn't get a lot of clients that way. And I don't know why or what it is differently about the people who are researching on YouTube for retirement income.
Hmm.
To me, when they get to me, they are educated minimally, of course, but they go down this wormhole of watching your videos and they're watching other people on YouTube. But the thing that's really interesting about YouTube that's different is that it's a search engine, right? So Google is the number one search engine, YouTube is the second. And so people are actually going there and searching how to do blank or tell me about annuities, what's an FIA? How do I do a Roth conversion? They're interested and they're learning. So when they get to me, they've usually watched several of my videos. They're educated at least minimally. And so I really like that platform for that. If you're
Hmm.
somebody who likes to educate others, it's a really great way to go for those reasons. And so I think it's also experimental. Like I
Yeah.
said, with podcasting with my last business, that really took off. In this business, it's working really well to do YouTube. The way that you title things matters a lot. So if you're thinking about doing YouTube first, I would think, am I a person who does research on YouTube? Because that helps you know what you want to teach and how you want to do it. You really
Sure.
want to think about branding yourself. And like you were saying, it does weirdly have that celebrity effect where when people get to me, they're kind of blown away that they're talking to me instead of somebody
Yeah.
else, which has benefits and drawbacks because I look at scalability and I think, how do I fit into the picture always? Do I always want to fit into the picture long term? What does that look like in the future? But hey, for now, it's bringing me all of my leads. I barely pay anything for leads at all, and my calendar is booked out for 3 months in advance.
That is amazing. And when it comes to doing the YouTube, I think a lot of us, this was my problem. I couldn't figure out what topic I wanted to talk about. And then I was like, I don't have the studio set up. I don't have this. I don't have that. And I remember buying a nice camera in 2020. I'm like, COVID hit. I'm going to just do YouTube. And then I ended up never doing it. And then I realized, you know what? I don't have to be that complicated. Like literally, this is being recorded with my iPhone. Super simple. A couple little box lights I got on Amazon for like $100. And this is just old barnwood. I just put it up there in a little sign, like you don't need much, and a little DJI mic. That's it. So maybe for a couple $100, I'm in on everything. Plus, I already have a phone. It's simple in that regard. But then as you start producing that content, you get more and more people that want to request you specifically. But that's a good challenge to have because a lot of agents are trying to figure out how do I get my calendar full? Because as long as you have a full calendar, you know that you're not going to close everyone. But at the same time, you know that, hey, maybe one in every 15 people I'm able to help. And I have 50 appointments booked. Okay, cool. I'm going to close some business. And with the margins that are allotted in the annuity space, it makes total business sense. But then you run into this predicament where it's like, it's all on you. How do you then scale and transition? Well, if you have a middle person in there, it actually increases your credibility and your leverage. So if somebody fills out a form or calls in and there's an assistant that offers, there's somebody that is like, in between you and that other client, which gives you better perception. So think about if you go to the doctor, right? You don't call the doctor's cell phone and text him or her. No, you call the office, you schedule, you make an appointment. There's a little bit of a process there. So a lot of people that are having this scalability issue, they just have somebody else added in that window to help become a buffer of those people and help to actually filter it out. There's a lot of success stories with that. I mean, Stan the Annuity Man, who's very popular on YouTube, he's known for doing tons of MIGAs. It's not like he's selling it directly to people, but that guy's probably doing hundreds of millions a year in premium from all of his content, right? And he just delegates it out to a sales team. But he's getting those people in the door from being consistent with the video posting. So maybe you could talk about the key of consistency. Like, I mean, you know a lot about the YouTube algorithm more than I even know. So what's the importance of somebody actually being consistently dropping videos?
I'll say this, I actually don't know a lot about the YouTube algorithm.
Oh, we
I
sound like you do when we talk.
Yeah,
So
well, it's funny. I'll say I don't study that stuff a lot.
yeah.
What the number one important thing is having content that people want to watch
Mm.
and that they want to binge watch. I know that that helps with algorithm on YouTube in terms of it's just like any other platform, social media wise. If they stay on your feed and they watch more of your stuff, then you get pushed out more. That's the simplest thing to know. And I will say, actually, though, I only release one video a week. And
Mm.
I release a long form every 2 weeks. Long form meaning around 10 minutes. 10, well,
Okay.
that actually that varies a lot. 10 minutes to 1 hour, depending on, for example, I had Ed Slott on my show. That's getting released this week.
That's
And
awesome.
that one was almost an hour long. It'll be about 40 minutes, I think, with all the edits. And then I'll do a short every other week that's highlighting the content and driving them back to the traffic in that longer form video. And I haven't noticed any issues with doing that amount of content. I
Huh.
think sometimes people almost overdo it.
Mm.
I've heard this, and I don't know if it's true, but I've heard if you do too much content, YouTube doesn't know what to push out and it kind of minimizes and diffuses your efforts.
Interesting.
And so I really learned in my last business because I thought I had to be everywhere on every platform and do everything. And I burned myself out and I didn't work. This business, I barely do any social, I don't do any social media really. I put my short on TikTok just to have presence there in case I ever want to turn ads on there.
Hmm.
And I put it on YouTube, LinkedIn every 2 weeks. That's it for social media. That is all I do for social media.
Wow.
And then YouTube, a video, a long, and then a short, and then a long and a short. And I just alternate that. And I actually was releasing a lesson a week, and I was getting too many meetings, and I couldn't handle the lead flow, so I had to turn it down.
Wow. What a good
Yeah.
challenge. You had to slow down. You had too many leads coming in.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how long have you been doing this YouTube channel for your retirement income school?
My first video release was in April, so I'm about 9 months in.
And you have like over 6,000 subscribers right now?
Yes. Yeah.
That is amazing. And see, I think the other thing too, a lot of agents need to understand is that I talk about this on every show that we do. There's not a get rich quick here. Like people say, oh, you got 6,000 subscribers. I'll never catch up to that. Well, you've been doing it for a year. You've been consistent with it. And it probably wasn't that fast in the beginning. Then it starts actually compounding itself outwards. And so you're doing these videos and you're posting once a week, which doesn't take much time. Like, how much time do you think you put into researching the topic, recording the video, and then uploading it to YouTube?
You broke up. Will you say that again? Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
How much time do you think you spend recording the video, researching the topic, and then uploading it to YouTube total per
I've
video?
got a system down to where total, and this is with all the way from planning to recording to releasing on my newsletter, getting the newsletter ready and everything, around 4 to 5 hours maximum every 2 weeks. Um,
That's not bad. So
so
10 hours a month,
yeah,
maybe?
yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, if you're an agent listening to this, like, if you can invest 10 hours a month into your schedule and you do it consistently, you can have a booked calendar for 3 months out. Like us, we're constantly booking workshops. I have to pay for the venue. I have to drive there. I have to buy the water and the supplies and material. It requires me to physically be somewhere for 1 hour, and I'm only capturing maybe 20 to 30 eyeballs. That's it. Then the seminar's over, right? And I have to be more consistent with that. Whereas with YouTube, I mean, you could get thousands of views on one single video. What do you think what's your number one video with the most views? How many views do you have on it? Just
I
ballpark.
haven't checked in the last month, but when I checked about a month ago, it had around 75,000 views.
That's
And
amazing.
it blew my mind. Yeah, that's not typical for all of them, but they
Right.
do. The nice thing about when you get one like that, it does drive traffic to your
Yeah.
channel. And so that one really took off. I don't know why. It's funny. I mean, I can see patterns and why, but it wasn't like you can plan that. That's kind of the
True.
wild thing about YouTube. You do need to be consistent, and I think, sometimes I used to coach people on saying, there's no such thing as overnight success. It kind of feels like I've had overnight success in this business because I've been able to be so productive and have so much success in my first year selling annuities.
Right.
And it's kind of blown my mind. But I spent 7 years before that learning branding in my last business. I spent
Yeah.
thousands of dollars learning YouTube. And I don't want people to think that they have to do that. And at the same time, it takes that level of commitment to drive a successful business. If you're in
Right.
it for the long haul, hey, I could go, this is really cool. I don't even know if you know my history of this, probably at some point I've told you, but in 2018 is when I started my first business. I was on food stamps and
Wow.
I was a single mom in grad school with 3 kids. And I went from food stamps to 6 figures in my coaching business in its first year. And now I'm tracking for by year 10 of being an entrepreneur, I will have $1 million business. So I went from food stamps to $1 million business in 10 years. Like, that's
That's
insane.
amazing.
It blows my
Wow.
mind. And I'm not special. I would say the only thing that's special about me is that I'm committed and driven and I stay on track.
Yeah.
And anyone can do that. It's just learning and never giving up and really being focused and loving what you do, I think helps a lot. Like, don't do it just for the money. You've got to do
Right.
it because you care about people. And I really care about my clients. I love working with people. And I think that shines through in my videos when I'm teaching people. I'd say the number one comment I get is they appreciate that I've had people say this, you dumb it down. You don't sound like a financial person who's saying all these big words that I don't understand. And so
Exactly.
I think that's another thing that's really important, for people that are thinking about doing YouTube or a podcast or some sort of teaching platform. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room. You don't have to know everything. You just need to be steps ahead of the people that you're teaching. And that's it.
Yeah, like the old saying, one chapter ahead of the book if you're the teacher for the student, right? That's all you need.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was a problem that I had. I was trying to be the absolute expert in everything, and I was overcomplicating it. And it doesn't have to be. You can be very, very simple in your explanations as long as you have some general knowledge about the topic. And especially now, there's really no excuse. Agents all the time are looking for this secret sauce. And to your point, it's consistency. It took me 10 years also to build $1 million business. And when I first started, I didn't make my first 6 figures in this practice until like the end of the fifth year. Then I made 6 figures gross top line. Then I spent like twice that on marketing on credit cards. But
Yeah.
it took some time to really kind of get it to click and figure out. But if you are an agent listening to this and you think about, okay, where are you going to be in the next 10 years, right? If you keep doing what you're doing now, maybe YouTube's not for you. That's fine. Well, at least do workshops or do something else. But if you have zero marketing budget, I mean, Amanda went from food stamps. I was 22 when I first started, sleeping in my truck, door knocking, trying to sell life insurance. And we both built this up, and anyone can do it. Like, I don't have a college degree. I'm not an engineer or anything fancy like that, but I'm just consistent. I just kept doing what I knew that worked at some level and then improving on what is working consistently. And then it builds itself and compounds it. So if you have zero budget, YouTube is what, free? Duh. You just have your iPhone. And with Chat GPT and all these other crazy CapCut, whatever editing stuff, all you have to do is spend a little bit of time figuring out how to trim up a video, make it look nice, even if it's kind of clunky. There's so many YouTube success stories of people, just like that one guy, the what's his name, something economist, and he just records it in his car. It's like a '97 Toyota Corolla or something like that, and he's
Yeah,
got massive following. Like, you don't need a whole lot to make something actually come to fruition, and that's where consistency is key. Like, just with the Annuity Producers little video podcast, we've been growing massively, and we just started really actually posting more content out on a consistent basis. And anybody can do this. It's not that complicated. But I do think that one of the things that what the agents need to spend a little bit of time on is a good website too. Because if you have a good YouTube channel, you're going to link your website there and it needs to look professional. So maybe you can walk through real quick. Let's say I'm a consumer, I like you, and I want to learn more about your services. What is your lead caption process? How does somebody go from watching you on their phone to actually booking a call with you?
Yeah, that's a great question. And when you were talking earlier about the process of having somebody else answer and set the appointment, I am really into automation as much as possible. So I use Calendly mixed with lead flow for with what it was the right word, nurture sequences, right? So when
Yeah.
somebody is on my channel, I make sure I do CTAs, calls to action, every time to book an appointment, and make sure that your domain is simple. It's easy to spell. And I've made this mistake in the past before. It's why I don't ever share my last name, because people can't spell it. I used to have my website be amandabarrientes.com. No one can spell Barrientes if they can barely say it, right?
Very
And
true.
so when you are marketing, if you're going to do something like that and you want a CTA, make sure it's simple. So mine is retirementIncome.school. So
Perfect
every time
domain.
I'm on my channel, I go, welcome to retirementIncome.school. I have like a little tagline and talk to them about safe money solutions. And I keep it simple. I think about branding. So they come in that way. And I say, go to retirementIncome.school, click on the book a Q&A call button. Simple, right? That's easy. It drives traffic. People can remember it. Of course, then it's in the show notes. And then they go there and then they schedule an appointment. And then all of that is automated from the time that they schedule that to when they meet me. They got an email that gives them more videos to watch. It's educating them. It's helping them you get nurtured along the way so that by the time they get to that appointment, they have, if let's say they only watched one video of me when they got to the appointment, now they have had the opportunity to watch several more. And then we have a conversation. So then I have a phone call with
Mm.
them. And then a simple phone call I've learned to start is better than doing a Zoom meeting
Yeah.
because it reduces friction. I've noticed it for myself too, because I'm vetting them just as much as they're vetting me.
Right.
I don't want to work with everybody. And so I want
Right.
to
Yeah.
check in that first call and see, hey, is this going to be a good fit for us to move forward? So then we'll talk. And then next one is a Zoom meeting. That's when I do financial analysis and dive deeper, and then we go from there. So that's what that process looks like.
And I mean, it's pretty simple. They sign up, they get a couple drip nurturing emails, and those drip emails are value added. Hey, here's some more videos. Here's a free PDF download. We do some similar things. And then they book a call with you, which I really like that because the call is the quick filtration point. We do the same thing where it's like 15-minute phone call link. That's it. Because within 15
Yeah.
minutes, I'm going to figure out like I can help them, or I can't help them, or I don't want to work with them, or I do want to work with them. It's very
Yeah.
simple. And then from there, you can invest more time with each other by booking a follow-up Zoom call. And it creates a filter too, because people are either going to want to do that or they're not. And when you have such an
Yeah.
influx like that, if they're not quite ready, okay, cool. There's somebody else that takes your spot. All the time, people come in like, this makes sense, just not quite ready for it. No problem at all. I literally say, call me when you're ready, and I move on. I don't even think about it again. And
Yeah.
maybe they don't call back, but that's okay. A lot of people will, but with that constant flow of people coming in, you don't have that stress and you don't have that commission breath either, because that's what a lot of agents they get scrambled like, oh, I got 2 appointments this week. I got to make something happen. You need to alleviate that stress, and the best way to do it is to create activity. And what better way to do it via YouTube videos? Because it doesn't cost you anything other than some time. Like you don't have to promote it and spend money on ads. You can literally just start posting it on there and give it some time. And then it'll naturally build up and create a following like what you have. And look at that. That's amazing. 3 months booked out. And now you can't take any vacations, but that's okay. Uh,
Well, I do put the vacations on my calendar like at the beginning of every
sure.
quarter, and because yeah, otherwise I would never be able to even take a vacation. It would be or go to workshops, which I love to learn. So I go to a lot of workshops every year. I think that's another thing that's important to point out to
Hmm.
people. I am an avid learner. Like I got 3 designations this year. I'm not somebody who's just going to sit around and wait to have someone else tell me what to figure out. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to get this and I'm going to get that. I'm going to learn everything that I can because I want to be an expert to my clients and I want to understand what's going on. And this is a newer industry for me. So it's like, okay, well, do you want to talk to an expert or do you want to talk to somebody who's just dabbling and wants your commission?
Yeah,
Like
there
for
you go.
me, I want to be well-rounded, and I'm not saying I think there's a mix of things where sometimes people can get designations because of imposter syndrome,
Yeah.
and they think they need to have too many. Get the right ones. Get the ones that are inspiring to you to learn. Get the ones that your clients need that information. So I'm not someone who's going to get every designation under the sun. I get the ones that make sense for me, and I really, because this is new industry, I was like, oh, I got to learn a lot. So I threw myself in the deep end and just learned everything I possibly could. I came, to visit you and went to your workshop for Social Security. I think I've come there a couple times. I go to Annuity Producers every year. I will continue to do that. I'm like, oh, I show up to learn, and I think that that's really important for agents who are in it fully.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like even now, I still go to events and conferences to pick up on things. And even though as much as I do know from doing it for so long, I still learn all the time. I mean, I've learned a lot from you. I learned a lot from other newer agents. I mean, you can't stop this learning wagon. And one of my goals this year is to finish another retirement planning book that I have. So we already have two. We have the Social Security long-term care. We're doing another one. And then
Nice.
the other thing is to gain yet another designation. And now I have four already. And so my name is like a huge giant alphabet.
Yeah.
But what's nice about the designations, are they going to make you a better salesperson? Not necessarily, but what it does is it gives you even more credibility. And the bigger picture of designations is that now you have an opportunity. If there's a law firm that wants to partner with you, or a estate planning firm, or a CPA, or another financial advisor, those credentials go a huge way. Like you have a is it a doctor's degree or doctoral degree? Is it the same thing? I
Yeah,
like
you did doctorate. Yeah. Yep.
yeah, doctor's degree. See, I went to junior college and then dropped out. But that's amazing to have that doctor in front of you. And like, you don't have to have that. Like, I don't. And I just have these designations. I tell people, look, instead of me going to school for 4 years and getting a BA or BS, I decided just to go straight into this industry. And I have
Yeah,
these
yeah, school of
designations.
learning. It's the school of
Yeah,
life.
yeah,
It's funny. I would never recommend anyone get a PhD for building a business. Like learning is a way better way to go. I had already had it when I went into being an entrepreneur, so it
right.
made sense. And you're right, credibility, like it has blown my mind how much credibility those designations do give you. And
Yeah,
beyond my PhD, I've had people, I recently finished the RICP and people they're like, oh, you've got the RICP, you've got the RSSA. Like not everyone knows what they are, but when they do know, it does matter to them. And I
yeah,
will say, because of that, I attract very high caliber clients, generally speaking. And I do attract the people who are into that research because I'm on YouTube. So it's
right.
another thing for people to think about. If you're doing, let's say, a dinner seminar, and they've only seen you there, or an educational seminar and they've only seen you there, they probably expect more in-person contact because they met you in person.
Right.
And so you're going to then need a brick and mortar business. For me, it's like, oh, I tested seminars. I'm like, it's not working for me who it attracts because I prefer online business. I'm
There you
like
go.
lazy. I like to be at my house and to do my work from my house. And so I've never once met a client in person. I only meet on Zoom.
That's
And
amazing.
it just makes my life really easy, you know. And so partly because I attract people on YouTube, they're used to that. You know, they're more savvy online often because they're people who are able to get on Zoom and do things like that. It just makes it a little easier for me to attract the right avatar. So in marketing world, we think of these as avatars, like who's your client avatar, who's your ideal person you want to attract, and you want to reverse engineer your marketing plan from that perspective and think, okay, where are they hanging out? What are they watching? What are they reading about? What do they want to learn about? And how are they going to want to meet? And then you create a client journey to fit their needs. And then they feel really handheld. Then they refer people to you. Like I'm so curious for myself what's going to happen in the future years of my business because I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna have so many referrals on top of all these leads that are coming in. And it's funny, Roy. It's hard for me a little bit to slow my lessons down because I like to teach. Like I
Right.
could do it. I love doing YouTube videos. Like they're fun for me. And so I've been sitting with that, like how do I keep teaching but then turn the lead flow down? I don't know. That's a hard one.
Well, the other advantage that you have, like in time as your channel keeps growing and picking up, is sponsorships because sponsorships in the financial learning space on YouTube is way more than, if you're just doing something differently or working on cars, for example. Like you have other sponsorship, other revenue streams that you can generate. Have you turned on monetization on YouTube yet? Are you at that point?
Yeah, I am, but it's so small. I don't know if you've ever
Yeah,
monetized a YouTube channel.
I
It's
haven't.
like,
Yeah.
oh my God, it's like you have to have millions of people for
Mm,
it to be any sort of revenue stream. It's not a revenue stream unless you have, I have 10 million subscribers and lots of watch hours. Like
yeah.
yeah. I mean, because I have a very active channel, it's like
Right.
$30 check or something. It doesn't even pay for like a trip to Starbucks,
No, not at all. Exactly. I was just in Colorado too, and Starbucks is very expensive. But
Yeah,
But the
yeah.
bigger opportunity is like sponsorships, right? I mean, that's another avenue
Yeah.
that you can have with people, and that's really cool. So, thank you so much for sharing that. As always, we try to keep these within a 20, 30-minute window. We're agents too. We have a short attention span. We have ADHD, so we don't want to go too long on all this. Hopefully, y'all get a lot out of it. Be sure to check out our live national conference. It's every single year. Annuity producers. You can find out more in the link in the description. Also, we'll put the link to Dr. Amanda's YouTube channel here. So everyone watching us, go over there, support her, subscribe, like, and check it out and learn from it. Watch her videos, see how she's doing it, and look at her success, and then you can mimic it. There's no IP protection here. It's just the free world of the internet, and see what she's built. It's really amazing. And if you're a consumer watching this, you can check out her channel, check out her website, and then book a call with her. You might have to wait a couple months because she's so busy, but that's because she's good at what she does. All righty, guys. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time, Dr. Amanda. It's always fun working with you.
So awesome. Thank you.
All righty, cool.